Odin is disguised as Ratatoskr, and I can explain the whole thing in this video. Now, when I say this, understand that Odin, he can have a lot of disguises. We already know he can clone himself. So what is stopping him from being more than just one person, more than just one other person, you know? Because I remember, I'm not sure who said it, but someone in my comment section said that how can Odin be disguised as all these people? And I know I had some nuance of what I said with Odin being Hildisvini, because I'm not really sure about Hildisvini yet, but I'm sure that Odin is disguised as Mimir and Ratatoskr. And when I say this, look, understand that Odin, this is not no like MCU Odin. This is not like an improper depiction of Odin. This is a proper, mythologically accurate depiction of Odin. So this Odin is not going to be so easy to trick. He's actually going to be 10 steps ahead of us at all times. So when I say this, understand that it's, even though I need evidence to prove it, just on a ground level, it actually makes sense for why Odin would be disguised as Ratatoskr this whole time. Like, look at Eisen. I compare Odin to Eisen a lot because these characters are not easy to beat. Like, they will make themselves look easy to beat at the beginning, just like Eisen. He faked his own death. He looked so friendly, but then at the end of everything, he makes himself look like a proper depiction of what he believes himself to be, a god, right? And Odin is going to do the same thing. So understand, it's like, it's not really a crazy thing to really like think of this. It's not really something too far stretched to think that Odin will be disguised as Ratatoskr this whole time. Now, obviously, you need something to back it up. But, you know, just on the ground level, just on a normal basis, just think about that. But anyways, let me get into the evidence itself. Now, the first two reasons why I believe Odin is disguised as Ratatoskr is because Ratatoskr has blue eyes that I feel like signify Odin, and I explained that in my other videos. And the second reason why is because he wears an eye patch, and I think that is a blatant sign to tell us Ratatoskr is disguised as Odin. Now, check this out, y'all. When we see Durlin, we know Durlin is working with Odin because he's traveling with Odin with the ravens, and we already know that the ravens need your consent in order to travel with them. So that means Durlin is giving Odin his consent. But when we look at Durlin's design, you guys see how he has some sort of like eyeglass? Now, I know there could be a variety of reasons for why Durlin wears the eyeglass, but I personally believe Durlin's eyeglass, it can have multiple meanings. Things can have multiple meanings and not just one direct meaning. And I think one of the meanings of that eyeglass is to signify his relationship with Odin, his, you know, cooperation with Odin. And when we see that eyeglass, it's supposed to be a trend, just like Mimir having one eye and Ratatoskr wearing an eye patch. It is all a trend for us to see that these characters are actually working with Odin, and we don't actually realize it yet. So Ratatoskr having an eye patch is a form of telling us that he is still working with Odin. Take that how you wish. Alright, so here's the other reason why I think Odin is disguised as Ratatoskr. And pay close attention, because this is going to take a while.
Excuse me, sir. Mind if I take a little peek at you? I promise I'll be brief.
Now, I want someone to explain to me why this just happened. Like, someone needs to actually tell me how exactly did Ratatoskr know we're trying to go to Alfheim, and he knew the exact moment to come to the house and ask for the seed to get us to Alfheim. How could that be? Like, how could Ratatoskr know the exact moment we need to go to Alfheim? That cannot be a coincidence. But check this out. I think I know why. I think I have a reasoning behind why Ratatoskr actually came at that exact moment. But we're gonna have to look at a lot of details in order to actually understand this. To be clear, we get the seed from Brock, and Brock says the seed is from the landlord, who is more than likely Ratatoskr, because he is the one who gives us the seeds and actually makes the seeds work to go to other realms that are not Midgard, and I'll explain that in a second. But when we get the seed, see how Tyr who is disguised as Odin, looks right at the seed, looks right at it. And I think this is an important detail because let me show y'all this too.
Ah, yes. Amber resin. Delightfully nutty with a hint of squidding. Ah, yes. Amber resin. Delightfully nutty with a hint of squidding.
Because Ratatoskr told us that the seed had squid ink on it, that's how I know that the seed originally came from Durlin and Diener. But remember, Durlin is working with Odin. And guess what? Durlin was also the same guy who gave us the map to the fake Tyr. And originally we were expecting him to help us, but it ended up being all a lie that Durlin gave to us. Now, think about this for a second. Durlin is working with Odin, and Diener is the one who gives us the seed. Remember, Odin knows that Atreus likes animals, so Odin would know to give Diener the seed and make Diener give the seed to Atreus, because Odin would know that Atreus is going to start a conversation with Diener. But what actually ends up happening is that Brock goes to Durlin and he gets a seed from Durlin, and because Odin sees us get that seed, he knows that Ratatoskr should come at that exact moment. And there's even more evidence to prove that Odin is the one who sent Ratatoskr to come see us at that exact moment, y'all. Look at this. Now, before I move on, I just want to be clear that the seed that Atreus gets from Diener is not the same seed that we use to go to Alfheim. That is a different seed specifically for Atreus that Odin made Durlin have and give to Diener so Diener can give it to Atreus. But I still brought it up because Ratatoskr has things to do with this, and Ratatoskr is there because Brock gets the seed that we use to go to Alfheim from Durlin, and then because Brock gives us that seed and Odin sees that, he knows to bring Ratatoskr here. But let me just move on from there. But just remember, the seed that Atreus has is not the same seed that we use to go to Alfheim. Now listen to what Tyr says here.
Tyr, you're really up for coming with us?
I am. Whenever you're ready. Well, whenever your father's ready, I should say.
Right behind you.
I'll meet you at the gateway presently, friends.
Now when we're about to leave, Odin just says that he needs to do something real quick. Right after he just said that when Kratos was ready, he would be right outside with us. Now, maybe y'all can say I'm tripping. Maybe y'all can say I'm out of the world or something. But I don't think this is all a coincidence. I don't think that Ratatoskr would know the exact moment, the exact time to come to the house and give us a way to Alfheim. Especially since if you play the game, Ratatoskr's first visual appearance, the first time we see him, is because we need a way into Alfheim. So obviously Ratatoskr came knowing that we had to get into Alfheim. Someone must have told him. And I believe with all this information, Odin was the one who called him and told him that we need a way into Alfheim and to provide a seed in order to get into Alfheim, y'all. Look, I don't think that all this is a coincidence. Maybe you could say it's a coincidence, but I don't believe it at all. But hey, just take it how you wish. Now, one last thing before I move on. Listen to what Ratatoskr says here too.
Ah, so that's why good Master Brock needed an Alpine seed. Clearly you have important matters afoot.
Now, if you remember what I said before, Brock got the seed from Durlin and Diener. But if Brock got the seed from Durlin and Diener, how the hell does Ratatoskr know that Brock needed a way into Alfheim? He would only know that if someone told him. And guess what? I think because Odin is working with Durlin and Diener, he must have actually told Odin, Durlin told Odin that Brock needed a seed to go into Alfheim. And because Odin knows that now, he's going to tell his disguise as Ratatoskr that they need a way into Alfheim. Which is why in that scene, they actually say that, Ratatoskr tells us that Brock needed a way into Alfheim, yet he just detailed to us with the squid ink that he got the seed from Durlin and Diener, which would mean that the only way Ratatoskr would know that they need a way into Alfheim prior to actually finding out that the seed is an Alfheim seed would only be because someone told Ratatoskr that Brock needed to get into Alfheim. And the only person I feel like would have known this is Odin because of these reasons. Now look at this, bro. When we see Odin's green ravens, they have a transparent orientation and they have glowing white eyes. Now look at Ratatoskr's spectral magic. They also have a transparent orientation and glowing white eyes. I don't think this is a coincidence. As we already know in the series, Odin, he learns a lot of magic from his enemies. So I feel like the reason why they have a similar appearance is because Ratatoskr actually taught this magic to Odin. But now, after Odin has gotten what he needed out of Ratatoskr, he imprisoned him, just like he imprisoned so many other people like Tyr, so he can have Ratatoskr under his control, and Ratatoskr cannot work against him. But yeah, that's why I think these two types of magic are actually the same thing. Ratatoskr taught the magic to Odin, and now Odin has access to it, and because Odin has access to it, obviously it's going to it's going to look similar to Ratatoskr's spectral magic because it's the same source. It's the same person who taught that magic to Odin. So obviously, well, going off what I think, if Odin were to use that magic, of course it's going to look similar to Ratatoskr's spectral magic. Now here's the last thing I'm going to say. In this cutscene, well, before I actually get to the cutscene itself, when we look over here, we see Ratatoskr is not there. Now remember that. When we go into the house, after we already know Brock dies, we come outside and look at this. Ratatoskr is not there. Right? Now, listen to this.
I do not know what to say. I am devastated to hear about what happened to Master Brock. To think that something like that could happen in my home of all places. I am sickened and deeply sorry. Is Master Sindri all right?
No. But he is safe. He has returned to Midgard.
I see. I can only imagine the grief he must be feeling. Please, take care, you two.
Now, if you caught on to that, you're probably wondering, how does Ratatoskr know Brock died if he wasn't actually around when Brock died? And I feel like, just like Ratatoskr knowing about us going to Alfheim, Odin told Ratatoskr that Brock had died, and that's the reason why Ratatoskr returns and tells us he's worried and he's sad about Brock's death, even though he wasn't even around when Brock died. You see, bro, how the hell could Ratatoskr know this if, remember, we only see Ratatoskr there when we need his assistance and when he's actually trying to provide something to us. He only appears when we need him to appear. And check this out too.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. That chime on a response to the axe. Yeah, and people whose balls have dropped. Sorry.
So if the axe only responds to Kratos, then that would mean Kratos would have to be the person who tells Ratatoskr about Brock's death, right? Because Brock only comes when we need him and when we need his assistance. So obviously Ratatoskr, he's not going to be around if we don't need him. And I think the reason why he's never around is because he's hiding something on the World Tree, but I'll get into that in a later video. But if we don't need Ratatoskr, he's not going to be around. So that's why I know it couldn't have been Freyr, Hildisvini, it couldn't have been any of them that told him, because he's only going to be around when Kratos calls him. So if Kratos didn't call him and he knows that Brock died, I feel like the only way he would know that Brock died is because Odin is disguised as Ratatoskr, and now Odin is literally telling us that he knows Brock died because he literally is Odin. Like, I don't know how much more suspicious it could really get. Like, this man wasn't around when Ratatoskr died. And also, to add on to that, in this cutscene, I call Ratatoskr to actually come before Brock dies. And look at this. When we come outside, Ratatoskr is not there. So that's how I know for sure the developers are telling us that Ratatoskr wasn't around when Brock died. And the reason I feel like they're trying to tell us Ratatoskr isn't around when Brock dies is because they want us to question how Ratatoskr knows that Brock has died even though he isn't around. He was not there when Brock died, so how the hell does he know Brock was dead? But I feel like the reason why he knows he's dead is because he is disguised as Odin. And if he's disguised as Odin, it makes everything I said in the video so clear. It makes sense why he has that spectral magic that looks similar to Odin's. Odin has the spectral magic that looks similar to Ratatoskr's. Ratatoskr knew the exact moment to come to give us the Alfheim seed. Ratatoskr wears an eye patch, and now Ratatoskr knows when Brock has died. Like, I'm not sure how much more clear it can get. I'm really not sure how much more clear it can get. But anyways, this is the end of the video. I didn't want this one to be too long because usually when I make these videos they become like an hour long, and I didn't want that to happen. So I will have another video with some small pieces of evidence that I think could suggest Ratatoskr is disguised as Odin. But that'll be the end. Thanks for watching. Okay, before I actually end the video, here's something I forgot to put earlier in the video. So right here, this is when Dinar gives Atreus the seed to go to Midgard, right? And then we see over here, Atreus runs out the house because he's provoked by everybody in there, and he goes to Midgard. So right there, that's how I know Dinar actually gave this to Atreus on Odin's command, because Odin knows that once this is going to happen, once Atreus comes back from wherever he went and he gets provoked by everybody in the house, he's going to use that seed to run away, and then he goes to Midgard, and from Midgard he goes to Asgard. So that's why I wanted to bring in that point with the seed, because Odin, I know that he has control, and he's aware of how these seeds work. And the reason why he's aware of how these seeds work is because he actually has control over them. And because he has control over them, that's how he knew and he planned for all this to happen, because he knew that if everybody in that house provoked Atreus, he would use that seed to go to Midgard. And he knew that Atreus had that seed because he made Dinar have that seed under his command, and he specifically gave it to Dinar to make sure Atreus would spark up a conversation from Dinar. And when Dinar gave him the seed, Atreus would not actually make any question of this, because Atreus likes animals. He trusts animals, so of course he would not see this as any type of threat. So yeah, that's just all I wanted to say now, and if you see the connection, maybe you'll believe me, but just take it how you wish.